Hi muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing very well. Thank you so much for clicking on my YouTube channel. We just hit 450,000 subscribers and we are getting so close to 500,000, which is absolutely insane. So if you're not subscribed and you enjoy the videos, please consider joining the little mucker family. Okay, everyone, there is a lot that is happening with mrbeast right now. And if you are chronically online, like myself, then first of all, love this top. The laughing cow, there's something about this diva wearing earrings of herself that when I saw this top, I just went, I love you so much. So anyways, there's so much going on with mrbeast right now. And again, if you're online, you're seeing it. So to cut to the ending, basically, mrbeast is now being sued. mrbeast and Amazon are being sued by contestants on the Beast Games competition show. Now, we have been covering it and ultimately we wondered where it was going to go. Well, now we have it. There is now a lawsuit. There's a lawsuit on behalf of 5 unnamed participants and it's a class action status lawsuit. Now, that's not all what's going on with mrbeast right now, and I am going to be making a follow-up video on mrbeast because mrbeast, Logan Paul, and KSI, Nightmare Blunt Rotation, by the way, have released their own version of Lunchables, and they are getting absolutely grilled online for it. Basically, they are just leading your children into diabetes, but we're going to talk about that in a different video, so put a pin on that, and when you see that, be like, oh, Adam warned me that that video was coming. So let's talk about this. We, like I said, have been covering the Beast Games show. This is a show that Amazon are doing, and mrbeast is in control of it. They gave him, I think, like $100 million to do this show, and he has a lot of control over it. Now, we have heard that the contestants have been really not treated well, to put it very lightly. We're going to dive into that because there's 2 articles going mega viral right now, including one from Variety that just dropped last night, breaking the news of the class action lawsuit. And then we have an article from the Rolling Stones, which is detailing everything that has also just dropped, detailing everything to do with the Beast Games. So this is really not good for mrbeast. He's being grilled online because of the Lunchables thing, which we will get to in another video. And this Beast Games things is now just a disaster, and it's deserved because of how they're treating these contestants. Now, shout out Rosanna Pansino, one of the people that has really been the driving force in uplifting the participants' voices of the show. And, you know, other people have definitely been involved as well. And we're seeing a lot more people speaking out and feeling confident to speak out. So just a shout out to those, you know, original people that really put themselves on the line and kind of opened this up to everyone else feeling a little bit more safe and comfortable to speak up. I have a lot of respect for Rosanna. So let's get to the Variety and then we'll get to the Rolling Stones. mrbeast, Amazon sued by contestants on Beast Games competition show with allegations including harassment and chronic mistreatment. A lawsuit against YouTube star mrbeast and Amazon has been filed on behalf of 5 unnamed contestants in the Beast Games reality competition show, alleging that they were subjected to chronic mistreatment, sexual harassment, and more. Now, this is getting worse and worse the more we hear about it. And again, it's like, what, is this show just going to come out and then we know everything that is happening behind the scenes? No accountability from Amazon, no accountability from mrbeast. What is going on? The complaint was filed Monday, September 16th, literally 2 days ago. If you're watching this today, I'm filming 2 days ago in Los Angeles Superior Court. The lawsuit alleges multiple cases of action related to chronic mistreatment of and neglect suffered by participants in Beast Games, a reality competition ordered by Prime Video in which more than 1,000 participants compete for a single $5 million cash prize. The suit claims Beast Games has a $100 million budget. Crazy! Why are we trusting these YouTubers with this money? They clearly don't use it. Well, they use it, but not for what they should be. A redacted copy of the complaint is available from this link. Oh my god. Okay, wow. Wow. Okay, we are definitely going to go through this in detail in a video, but I want to quickly talk about what is out there in the news and get this story to you, and then whenever I have time, I'm going to really deep dive into that lawsuit with you. The lawsuit seeks class action status on behalf of all affected Beast Games contestants. The suit demands that Amazon and MrBeast Company pay the alleged unpaid wages, alleged, and expenses, and that the defendants be ordered to pay unspecified monetary damages. Reached by Variety, representatives for Amazon and MrBeast, whose real name is Jimmy Donaldson, they what? They declined to comment. Of course they did. According to the lawsuit, Amazon, MrBeast Production Company, an independent production firm, Off One Base, LLC, among other things, failed to pay minimum wages. We're being told that they're failing to pay, allegedly, minimum wages and overtime. This show has a budget of $100 million. MrBeast, one of the richest people, one of the richest content creators, Amazon, one of the richest companies, and we're being told that in this show, $100 million budget, the prize is only $5 million of that, are failing to pay minimum wage and overtime, allegedly. What the But that's not all. Failed to prevent harassment, created conditions that subjected contestants to the infliction of emotional distress, did not provide participants uninterrupted meal breaks or rest periods, and exposed the contestants to dangerous circumstances and conditions as a condition of their employment. The first round of the show, with more than 2,000 people, was shot July 18th to 22nd at Las Vegas' Stadium. The 1,000 participants who made it through Las Vegas have moved on to the next round, shot in Toronto in August. So this has already been filmed, is what we're being told. Well, so there is footage of all of this out there, which is what's going to get so goddamn messy, that there is footage of all this. While participants knew upon signing the contract at the production's inception that they were facing a potentially long and challenging competition, they allege getting a lot more than they bargained for. Attorneys for the anonymous Beast Game contestants said in a statement about the lawsuit. Several contestants ended up hospitalized, while others reported suffering physical and mental complications while being subjected to chronic mistreatment, degradation, and for the female contestants, hostile work environments. According to the lawsuit, Beast Games participants were deprived of medical care, food, sleep, and the necessities of basic hygiene. Portions of the lawsuit are redacted, including some of the details involving sexual harassment allegations. The plaintiffs have filed this action using whatever this word is pronounced.
Pseudonym.
So a fake name. I know what it meant. I just didn't know how to... Pseudonym. They've been using pseudonyms and applying conservative redactions that limit public viewing in a good faith effort to comply with defendants' overbroad confidentiality provisions, which plaintiffs allege are unenforceable, as well as to preserve the confidentiality and privacy interests of the plaintiffs who wish to stay, anonymous. The lawsuit states. The lawsuit seeks to establish a pattern of harassment, according to the attorneys representing the 5 plaintiffs. For example, the complaint cites instructions from an alleged How to Succeed in MrBeast Production employee handbook that includes this: if talent wants to draw a dick on the whiteboard in the video or do something stupid, let them. Really do everything you can to empower the boys when filming and help them make content. Help them be idiots, as we read that entire document. We made a video on it, and it was a long-ass video because it's a long-ass document. One of the female plaintiffs in the complaint, identified only as contestant 5, said in a statement, "I wanted to join because I was a fan of MrBeast and his videos made me smile during the COVID pandemic. I expected to be challenged, but I didn't think I'd be treated like nothing or less than nothing. And as one of the women, I can say it absolutely felt like a hostile environment for us. We honestly could not have been respected less as people, much less employees, if they tried." According to the lawsuit, Beast Game producers created working conditions that jeopardized the safety of workers, including not providing sufficient food or drinks, not providing adequate medical staff on site, and not providing reasonable medical care. forcing them not to sleep and forcing them to participate in challenges that unreasonably risked physical and mental injury. Moving along. As extreme as the allegations against the defendants are here, the law could not be more clear, said Robert of this law firm, lead counsel for the plaintiffs. Participants entered into contracts and they were promised compensation for their services. Their expectation of compensation, along with them being consistently under the control and supervision of the production staff, makes them employees under California law. As such, they were entitled to and denied certain protections. And when you add that to extreme neglect, harassment and inhumane conditions, it's quite simply a massive dereliction, of course, that's it, of duty, for which the defendants must and will now be held accountable. A release date for Beast Games on Prime Video has not been announced. Amazon has touted it as the world's largest game show ever, with the biggest single prize in the history of television and streaming. Jimmy Donaldson, 26, is the biggest YouTuber in the world. He has 316 million subscribers to his main YouTube channel, the most of any individual creator. mrbeast garnered a massive audience through these videos where he did these big stunts, right? And they bring up that he recreated the Squid Games in 2021. And mrbeast is someone who's watched Squid Games once and really has made it his entire fucking personality. All right, now that we know that there is a class action lawsuit currently happening, 2 days ago this was filed. This is breaking shit. Like, this is breaking news. All right. I want to get to this article from Steven Asarch, who I really, really, really like Steven. And this article says, a Friar Fest feeling inside the chaos of mrbeast's new reality show. Jimmy Donaldson, known as mrbeast on YouTube, is expanding his empire into reality television with Amazon. A creator and star of the largest channel on YouTube with more than, talking about his figures, obviously. With a $5 million prize and 2,000 contestants. 2,000 contestants is deranged. We heard Jake Weddle. He can't even look after one properly. Beast Games is set to be the largest in history. The first 1,000 were eliminated in Vegas, with the tape filmed there reportedly cut into a video that'll appear on mrbeast's channel. The show itself is filming in Toronto, and according to one crew member who spoke to the Rolling Stones, is expected to wrap in mid-September. So the show should be wrapped by now, I guess. And then I'm like, they're filming this show, going into work every day. The contestants know it's getting all this backlash. They know there's lawsuits. mrbeast knows there's lawsuits, and what? He just does that, like, little dead inside smile and goes, let the games begin. Amazon gave me creative control. I need to try and make it happen. Jimmy Donaldson told Variety, who are now the ones breaking the news of the lawsuit. I hope to make the YouTube community proud. He hopes to make us proud. The level of delusion is quite alarming. My God. In an interview with YouTubers Colin and Samir, Donaldson added that 6 hours of content should be released later this year for Amazon. Money's not a constraint, and I could also just do anything, Donaldson said. From the first call, Amazon was like, yep, that makes sense, you can have control. And there's where they went wrong. We have seen this time and time again with YouTubers being given too much control by these people, and it always will end in a shitfest. YouTubers are not designed to work on things like this, do all this stuff by themselves, and them being given the creative control to this extreme and full control of the budget and stuff is incredibly negligent on Amazon's behalf. They were like, we don't want it, you're the master. A representative for Amazon did not respond to a request for comment, so they're all going silent. In Las Vegas, contestants reported having their medication withheld, being injured, and sleeping on stadium floors. Now, we've been told that they were sleeping during the daytime, allegedly, so that they could film at nighttime and control the lighting. Do you know how hot it is in Vegas? I had to stay in my goddamn hotel room until 2 a.m. when it was still hot outside, but it was a little bit more bearable to go outside. Vegas is insane heat. And the fact they're doing all these challenges in Vegas to start with is bizarre to me. It's not the place to be doing intensive things. That hot ass place, I mean, no shade to Vegas, I had a great time, but like, it is too hot in the summer, and they were filming in peak summer. Was any well-being taken into consideration here? And don't say this is a budget issue. You have $100 million. What? That is just insane to fathom. With many saying they were speaking out in hopes that the production would improve. So we're literally being told that people who are involved in Beast Games were speaking out way back then in hopes of the show being improved for the next round. So for those people being like, they're speaking out for clout and stuff, fuck you first if you say that. But number two, we literally have them saying that they were speaking out in hopes of it changing. But according to 6 crew members who worked in Toronto, as well as several contestants, according to 6 crew members and several contestants, many people are speaking out behind the scenes. Conditions on the reality show's production was dangerous. Internal documents, NDAs, call sheets, and set photos obtained by Rolling Stone from crew members who worked on the Toronto leg. So we even have crew members ratting this production out. Is anyone involved in this really for it? I don't think so. Maybe just Mr. Beast and his boys, his little boy club. They describe it as a potentially unsafe working environment that was disorganized, wild, and staffed with a crew with little experience on a project of this scale. But Beast Games has no president. Now here's the thing, 2,000 people is insane, but they have the budget to hire the proper people, and obviously they're choosing not to. It's a Friar Fest kind of feeling. One crew member who worked in Toronto and left the production early says, there's a reason why this level of production hasn't been attempted before, and it certainly should not have been attempted without people knowing what they're fully doing. And that's such a great point. Maybe not everything needs to be done. The first in the world, that's a good point. Maybe there's a reason that 2,000 people haven't been battling to death for $5 million before. Maybe there's a reason for that. It's a great point. The Mr. Beast Las Vegas promotional video shoot, which included over 2,000 participants, was unfortunately complicated by the CrowdStrike incident, extreme weather, and other unexpected logistical and communication issues, which we reviewed, and we are grateful that virtually all of those invited to Toronto enthusiastically accepted our invitation, a Mr. Beast spokesperson tells Rolling Stones, as a way of justifying it. There was issues here and there, is what they're saying. We communicated directly with 97% of the 2,000 people who attended to ask for feedback and took the necessary steps to ensure that we learned from this experience. And we were excited to welcome the hundreds of men and women who participated in the world's largest game show in history. The fact that they keep reiterating this, the biggest in history. It just goes to show that that's all they care about, numbers. When the competition was first announced in March 2024, hordes of Mr. Beast fans, as well as those unaware of what he was, applied online. The application featured questions meant to test people's personalities, like, are you willing to be buried alive? And are you more of a hero or a villain? What a great application process. Really starting off strong. Really starting off strong there, aren't we? According to Vital Vegas, the Vegas round also looked for challenge testers, guinea pigs, who tried the challenge before the contestants, offering them $150 cash for roughly 8 hours of work and a free meal. This show with a budget of $100 million, but if you want to be a guinea pig for the challenges that we're going to do, we'll give you $150 for 8 hours and we'll give you a free meal. How are the richest people in the world the stingiest fuckers with their money? They want to maximize their profit, but not the people that are actually working. Scott Leppold, an Austin-based actor who competed in the Vegas round of Beast Games, tells Rolling Stones that he had no idea who Mr. Beast was, but he applied because my kid said he's helping people all around the world with his philanthropic. I know how to say philanthropy. Well, it's philanthropy, which is crazy. Mr. Beast, philanthropy. Pfft, please. The same person who was like, if you're going to do something, record it. Can't give money to a homeless person without recording it. Can't do anything good without it being content. Yeah, the greatest person of all time. Yeah, you guys are right. Another contestant who has to have their name withheld for privacy concerns thought Beast Games would offer the most amount of exposure and could be a great opportunity to do more things in the game show world. I grew up watching shows like Fear Factor, and the people that were casted for the show said it would be the most difficult thing you've ever done, but also a really cool experience, they tell Rolling Stones. The first stop was in the stadium in Las Vegas, where starting on July 18th, peak summer in Vegas. Now, I don't know if y'all ever been to Vegas in summer. 2,000 contestants ate, slept, and lived inside of a stadium while competing in challenges like moving heavy objects and extreme games of capture the flag. It's going to be the most exciting show ever, you guys. According to a report from the New York Times. Like, all these huge mainstream media that Jimmy Donaldson, MrBeast, loves to pander to are all calling him out right now, and it's crickets. Per the New York Times, some contestants claimed that they had not received adequate food or medical care, and that some competitors had suffered injuries from the physical challenges. A MrBeast spokesperson cited the CrowdStrike incident and extreme weather amongst other issues. Leopold justified being in what he described as a deplorable condition because he thought being on a reality television show would be good for my acting. But when he started to hear rumors from the other contestants that his elimination in Capture the Flag would just end up on YouTube, he questioned why he was there, because people thought there was 2,000 people. All 2,000 thought they were in the show, but well, hey, only 1,000 of them are actually going to be on the show. The other 1,000 are stuck on a YouTube video, which is not what they thought going into it. He questioned why he was even there. We don't even know to what extent it's going to be used on his YouTube channel, he says. At what point, we didn't even know if we were being paid. Why am I doing this? According to a contestant agreement and release seen by the Rolling Stones, contestants were not promised payment, only prizes from playing of challenges. Now, let me do that from the top. According to a contestant agreement and release seen by the Rolling Stones is the band, and people always call me out for that. The Rolling Stone, contestants were not promised payment, only prizes. As for the chaos of the competition, which led to 6 hospitalizations, both contestants acknowledged that production was put in a bad position when trying to bring Donaldson's vision to life. One contestant who made it through to the round to Toronto tells Rolling Stones that they slept on the ground of the stadium and that they were confined to hotel rooms, none of which they were warned of beforehand. They were in over their heads and they didn't know what to do, he says. Like, people were just doing things that they couldn't control. After production wrapped, the MrBeast team sent out an email seen by the Rolling Stones to knocked out contestants, offering $1,000 payment to all contestants as well as an additional $1,000 payment for those eliminated. All expenses people took on travel, all expenses people took on due to the travel hiccups with the CrowdStrike outrage, and all medical needs, either during or after the games, will be fully covered, it reads. What is this? Drone footage of Beast Games in Vegas. Why does this only have 11 likes? So, is that really the entire stadium? Wait, so were they just sleeping, like, not covered at nighttime? Or were they sleeping in here? But if we're being told stadium floor, but maybe here. I mean, I don't know, but this does not look great. Is that the damn airport beside them? Wow, this is not great. I can't believe that whenever I was in Vegas, they were shooting this show. What a coincidence. At the end of the tarmac in an abandoned airport, a sprawling village was built for Beast Games, manned by about 800 crew members, about 9 miles from downtown Toronto. Oh, it's Toronto. According to footage captured by the CBC and confirmed by multiple employees who spoke to Rolling Stones, it consists of numerous airplane hangars, a line of houses, bleachers, and tables, as well as a large tower. In Toronto, contestants tell Rolling Stones their conditions improved immensely. One contestant in their early 20s, who was in both Vegas and Toronto, tells Rolling Stones that it was a much better experience. I think they learned from the mishaps and mistakes they made in the first round, which is all well and good, but that's still 1,000 people who had to deal with that. They speculate that contestants were overfed because they were trying to compensate for what happened in Vegas. They also claim that they slept in hotels where they had the freedom to walk around. Oh, they're so nice to them. In Toronto, they have the freedom to walk around. Oh, they're being treated so nice in Toronto. According to a private group chat of more than 350 Beast Games contestants seen by Rolling Stones, challenges consisted of games like trivia, taking bribes to eliminate others from the competition, and knocking down toy tires with dodgeballs. This might just be me, but I don't think there's much to report on for Toronto other than we generally are not a fan of the challenges, one contestant wrote in the chat. Two contestants in the chat claim to be bruised and have muscle tears from falling through a trapdoor after elimination. Two contestants in the chat claim to be bruised and have muscle tears from falling through a trapdoor after elimination. What the goddamn hell? One contestant says that everything seemed to be more in order, but they did suffer minor injuries to the head and groin after their trapdoor unexpectedly opened. Oh, well, that's okay then. Only minor injuries. I was able to come back in the games, but I was hurting badly, they say. I wanted to win the money, so I did my best to try stay in, lying to the medics that I was fine. And this is really sad that people are literally putting themselves through hell for the chance to win this money. And obviously, it's not going to be easy, but like people are being hurt over this because people need the money. While Mr. Beast, as we're told, looks over them like a god in the filming. This show's going to be shitfest. A source close to the production says that there was a very robust, experienced safety team, which included coordinators for stunts, medication, medical, and pharmacists who had to adhere to all sorts of safety guidelines, they added. There were very few injuries related to the people that went through it. This leg of Beast Games was a non-union production, which isn't unusual for a reality show. According to the YouTuber Rosanna Pansino, shout out Rosanna, in a TikTok video, the film and television production crew, Union IATSE, deemed the show an unfair production and its union members would not be allowed to work. ACTRA, Alliance of Canadian Cinema, Television and Radio Arts, issued a do not work notice for the production and that it is non-union. They issued a do not work notice for the production. A spokesperson for IATSE declined to comment to Time Magazine and did not respond to Rolling Stone's request for comment. ACTRA Toronto is unable to comment on non-ACTRA productions, a representative told Rolling Stone. So they still got back, but said they can't comment on it. Toby Dormer, executive vice president of Beast Games production company Blink-49, told Deadline that it was positive to see such a large-scale production take advantage of Canada's talented crew and competitive tax credits. All 6 of Beast Game crew members who spoke with Rolling Stones, who all requested anonymity because of NDAs they had signed, confirmed that they and their co-workers were non-union. One who worked in a hangar says their co-workers were everything from seasoned professionals to people who just graduated from film school who had never been on a set before, which they felt was an unusual mix for a production of this size. They were in over their heads and they didn't know what to do. Like, people were just doing things they couldn't control. The Toronto film industry still hasn't recovered from COVID or the Writers Guild strike, with an 80% drop in the number of active productions year over year. The union world has been hit hard and hasn't recovered, so they had every opportunity to get talented pros of all aspects, but they didn't want to pay. The crew member who worked in Hangar says, so they're being cheap for a $100 million production. They're being cheap. Starting in late July, casting calls for Project Greenlight. I'm waiting for it, that green light, I want it. Lord song. Someone commented on my video and was like, I need to stop watching Adam's videos because he's excruciating when he sings. Whatever happened to joy? Whatever happened to a little bit of a sing-along? You need to get some more joy in your life. The code for Beast Games started to appear on Toronto area casting websites and Facebook, calling for non-union males to play lead guards for various challenges. Literally calling for non-union people is crazy. Who needed to be between 25 to 50 years old, ideally have a background in military training, and must have strong body language and loud, intimidating voices because the role will be masked. The pay would be a day rate of $475, which is way too low for a production of this size and for how much money they're making. They're just being so cheap. A few days later, on August 4th, JB Casting Services in Canada posted on Facebook and Project Casting that they were looking for another position of talented background actors and guards judges for a reality-based competition series for $275 a fucking day. Why is this so cheap? The show is not what it is without all these people, and they're being fucked over. I believe they have $100 million, $5 million of that goes to the winner. Literally, this breakdown of cost of all these employees is so cheap that it's probably just Mr. Beast walking away with a huge fucking profit. Those ranging in age from 18 to 50 needed to be able to stand on your feet for extended periods of times, as well as being comfortable wearing a full mask and bodysuit for $275 a day. A day. For that amount of work, for a production of this size, for a production of this amount of money, fuck off. This non-union opportunity is ideal for, and that's what it stems down to, this non-union. This non-union opportunity is ideal for individuals with military or sports backgrounds who can maintain a strong presence and fairness throughout the competition, JB Casting Services wrote. There was also a post on the Canada Paramedic Students Facebook page on... Wait, is it still up? Can we see it? Wow. It's crazy that this is all on Facebook. Wow. Here it is. You deserve to get discovered. Thank you. It's really sweet. Thank you. It's very kind. Wow, here it all is. August 5th. Is seeking physically fit, militant type men. You have to stand on your feet for extended periods of times. Observe and focus on participants, judging them. Maintain fairness. Follow instructions carefully explained in English. Serve as guards, judges. Wear a full mask and bodysuit for extended periods of time. Rate $275 a day. And you know what this stems down to? They're relying on people wanting to be a part of a Mr. Beast production. That's really unfortunate. Another post looking for any medics interested in a 24-hour shift. 24-hour shift for medics. Paying how much? $350 for a 10-hour day for medics. 24-hour shift for 10-hour day. $350. $350. When asked in the comments if the gig was open to students, the poster said they could make it work. On August 6th, a call went out on Facebook for challenge testers to perform a variety of physical and mental challenges, including heights, small spaces, drops, and obstacle courses. They would be paid $100 for 6 hours or $200 for 12-hour shifts. What the fuck? Oh, it's not available at the moment. Clearly. $100 for 6 hours, performing a variety of physical and mental challenges, including heights, small spaces, drops, and obstacle courses. We just weren't seen as human beings. We were seen as a means to an end, the crew member who worked in hangar says. Although luckily this production was able to move forward without any union behind it, it makes the workers have to fight for their rights. So here we see compensation $200 a day for a 12-hour shift, $100 a day if you work 6 hours or less. You must be required to work day or night shifts. This is crazy. The employees Rolling Stone spoke with describe an environment that was fast-paced but loose when it came to safety. Days regularly went past 12 hours, and employees were often tasked with working more than 7 days in a row. Rolling Stones reviewed the pay stubs for one crew member who worked more than 80 hours in 1 week. 3 crew members described not receiving enough adequate food while filming. One who left the Toronto production early says they received a single scoop of rice on their 15-minute break over a 16-hour shift. There was either not enough food, they were running out, or it wasn't ready on time. One production assistant tells Rolling Stones, and what's really unfortunate about them being treated so bad is this production would not work without them. They are the most important part of it. Another PA says that catering ran out of food a bunch of times, and at one point, production asked their department to police the lunch line so people didn't take too large of a portion. Crazy. A source close to production denied that there was a shortage of food, calling it bullshit, ever so professional, and saying there were craft services available constantly, way more than even necessary to ensure that everyone was fed. Way more than even necessary is crazy. According to the Canada Labour Board Employment Standards Act, there is no weekly limit on the number of hours a crew member can work or for necessary eating periods. When temperatures hit upwards of 90 degrees, 2 crew members tell Rolling Stones production members in the hangar they worked in turned off air conditioning and fans during certain challenges because they didn't want it to interfere with the atmosphere, and conditions were not ideal. So when it would get up to 90 degrees, production members were literally turning off air conditioning and fans because they didn't want it to interfere with the atmosphere. Conditions were not ideal. They were so disorganized that they kept people running around the clock. A third crew member with a decade of experience in production says, guards and contestant wranglers were required to wear suits and polystyrene hoods. 4 crew members Rolling Stones spoke with claimed they were either paid late or not what they were owed. One PA says they didn't receive a paycheck for the first 3 weeks they worked, and another says, I never received one correct paycheck from the entire show. According to crew members, accounting used Revolution Entertainment Services for payroll, a company none of them had ever used on past productions. The company did not immediately reply for a request to comment. Last week, a Beast Games producer emailed crew members sharing that RES, which is the Revolution Entertainment Services where it's paying, had set up a hotline email to assist with and correct the payroll issue our crew had encountered on this show. And with Revolution stepping up to assist directly with the software shortfalls, it's always shortfalls and little issues, isn't it? We hope to get through the backlog of issues faster. A source close to production admits that there were some software issues converting the exchange rate, and the email was acknowledging that issue. The show's executive producers, according to a call sheet seen by Rolling Stones, worked on series like Deal or No Deal Island, Fear Factor, and Scare PewDiePie. So they've worked on these kind of reality show, competition show conditions. Since its 2021 formation, the production company Blink-49 has mainly worked on dramas with no prior reality show appearing on IMDb Pro. A source close to production says that Blink-49 ran physical production, booked vendors, and was not involved in creative. Blink-49 did not return a request for comment. Most reality shows are produced on a much smaller scale, with flashing lights and a stage. One crew member with more than a decade experience in production says, and at maximum, you're going to see something like The Amazing Race or Survivor. All right. On August 17th, Toronto experienced a large storm and record-breaking rainfall that flooded the set. They stopped actively filming for 38 hours, but, says one production assistant, workers were told to keep working with piles of electrical equipment literally submerged underwater. They were trying to keep the water away from the equipment, and the work definitely didn't stop when the rain was on, the PA says. It was flooding from the floor up and from the ceiling down, another PA says about the hangars. We were bagging up electrical equipment, but it didn't matter. It was pouring in everywhere. One picture reviewed by Rolling Stone shows a collection of plugged-in cables submerged underwater. What What the fuck? Another showed a young man in one of the production facilities holding cables above his head while standing in at least an inch of water. According to the Cal Arts School of Film and Video, using electricity of any kind of wet weather conditions is very dangerous and should not be done. A source close to the production says that as soon as it became clear there was issues with rain and water, the crew and production secured the equipment, and then as soon as conditions improved, production continued. On August 22nd, Donaldson sent out a video seen by Rolling Stones to everyone working on the production. He says, "I'm seeing how hard everyone is working, and I just want you to know it means the world to me. You guys are doing all this to pull off this show." Donaldson says, standing atop his concrete tower. "Once we get the contestants down to around 100, things should get a lot easier. I know the last day or two has been pretty long. If you're going to bring on the biggest competition show of all time, you should be ready for 2,000 people, not hoping that it's going to get fine when it's down to 100 people. That's bullshit and a cop-out." Every single person who participated or worked on Beast Games signed an NDA. The crew member with more than a decade of experience tells Rolling Stones, "They spent more time reiterating that everyone was under an NDA. I've never experienced that before." On September 5th, the Beast Games production office sent out an email to crew members reminding them that any violation of the confidentiality policy contained in your deal will be strictly enforced. So they're being threatened. Rolling Stones viewed the NDA from a competitor as well as a crew member. Dr. Julie McFarland, a law professor at the University of Windsor in Canada and co-founder of Can't Buy My Silence, a campaign rallying against NDA abuse, says the NDAs are extremely broad but not untypical. According to the contestant agreement and release, if a competitor divulges any confidential information before the last episode airs, they agree to pay $500,000 as well as any earnings. After airing, the fee is lowered to $100,000. So if you talk shit after the show, $100,000. If you talk before the last episode, $500,000. So basically, if 10 employees spoke up, they would be sued for the exact amount of money that the number one contestant is winning on the show. $5 million. Sorry, it took me so long to work that out in my head. I'm not great with maths. One crew member, NDA, Rolling Stone reviewed, says the recipient waives any right to seek or obtain injunction or other equitable relief against producer or any project, and that they can talk about confidential information for 3 years. This is typical clause for the industry. A Beast Games deal memo, which is a standard contract used by film companies to hire freelancers from earlier in the production seen by Rolling Stones, had a clause that employees acknowledged that employer may be exposed to provocative material and unique or unusual situations which may be considered offensive, indecent, or unacceptable. What the fuck? In the NDA, apparently it says employee acknowledges that employer may be exposed to provocative material or unusual situations, unique ones that could be considered offensive, indecent, or unacceptable. What are we doing, guys? What the fuck are we doing? All 6 crew members tell Rolling Stones that having an NDA swinging above their heads made it difficult for them to come forward. Most had never heard of Mr. Beast before, but no longer wanted anything to do with the content. Overall, I'm wondering why this kind of content is so important for the culture. The crew member who worked in a hangar says that this much labor and complicated matrix of things even has to exist in the first place. What an incredible article. So now we've heard all that, and we know now that there is a class action lawsuit against Mr. Beast and Amazon. Where do we go from here? Is the show going to come out? Is it going to address these points? Is Mr. Beast going to address this? Like, how much longer for Mr. Beast constantly pandering to the mainstream media? Now they're talking about him. Now they're talking about his show, and not in a great way. When is it going to take that it's not declined to comment? And he addresses this shit. Or is he in such a position where he can't? Because it's that bad. This is getting worse by the week. Like, I thought it was bad a couple months ago, but the more and more people speak out, the more and more information we find out, it's ultimately going to lead to a disaster. A huge, huge disaster. And when this show comes out, all of this is going to come back up again. Maybe even more. All right, muckers, I appreciate you being here. I couldn't wait to break this news with you. I will see you in my next one. I hope you're all doing very well. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't. I hope you're all having a beautiful day, and goodbye.